starting in the garden this week because although last night we had -5 temperatures, or so it was forecast, it didn't seem to bother the frogs too much because look, in the pond this morning. A lovely big clump of Frogspawn there, and there's also one just under the surface there. So clearly didn't stop the frogs having a good time last night. Ooh. Do you remember I made that incredibly random bulb lasagna? Well, it's starting to flower. And if you do remember, I planted these rather deep, which I afterwards thought perhaps wasn't the best thing to have done. But they've come up and they're flowering. In fact, let's come round. There's another little mini one underneath. Is that usual? I'm not sure. I think this is the Woodstock variety, so it's that really beautiful bright pink colour. Cerise, would you call that? And then the other things are coming up. This looks slightly tulipy, but I don't oh no, I think that's probably another hyacinth, isn't it? Was it anemones I put in here as well? I think it was. Is that what those are coming up? No idea, because I haven't grown an anemone before. Tulips are coming up in this planter though. Nothing in this one, which was another... what did I write on here? Oh, that's the fritillary. Oh, well, maybe they're a bit later. But the three-cornered leek is all coming up and looking good. The sweet peas haven't minded the temperature in the little flimsy. They're fine. And the gypsophilia have really come into their own since I gave them a bit of TLC and a good water. These poor hollyhocks still holding on, as with the foxgloves. The lettuce seedlings seem to have dealt with the temperatures fine. They're getting a bit leggy. I've got to thin them, haven't I, to 1 per cell, and some look like they might need pricking out and burying a bit deeper. I'm interested in this tray because this is the honey garlic that I took the seed from Woodbrook and planted, but I'm beginning to think there were 2 things in that packet. I'm pretty sure this must be the honey garlic because it looks alliumy, and then this is something else. I'm not sure what, but it is something that I would have picked to save and grow. It's not just a weed, and as you can see there's lots of them. So I need to prick all this out and pot on. Beetroots and kales looking fine, and all the brassicas okay, getting a bit leggy. A couple of the spinach have now come up, only a couple. And those peas that I did in the cells, they're the meteor variety. It really been sporadic germination. I'm hopeful that more will come up. We'll see. It's very cold in here, or has been very cold in here. And Ranunculus still putting on growth. No sign of any flowers yet. And broad beans this time doing fine, and about ready to go out, I think. That might be a job for this week. And new additions to the greenhouse, soon to be the plot, are some plants from my aunt. My Auntie Susan has given me a gooseberry, that's a green gooseberry, and blackcurrant, which she assures me is alive. And yes, look, you can see new growth there at the bottom. So they are going to find a home on the allotment. I'm very grateful for those. She also has an enormous rhubarb for me, but it's taking some levering out of the ground, so that's to be confirmed. Otherwise, everything in the garden is looking pretty rough, to be honest, but that's okay for this time of year. What does look good is all of this lamb's lettuce, or it's also called corn salad, isn't it? I've been protecting it from the birds, and although they don't seem actually too fussed about corn salad, they absolutely love the winter purslane. They mullered that, but this they've not been so bothered with, and I've got some that isn't covered and is still fine. And over here is what I think is a cauliflower, and is the best looking brassica I think I've ever grown. Whether it will actually produce a cauliflower, we shall see. Another new addition to the garden is a whole load of compost. I went to the garden centre yesterday evening and raided the split bag 50% off section and got 6 bags of this peat-free planting soil for vegetables. I'm growing vegetables. Awesome. Naturally peat-free. And I also got 2 split bags of horticultural grit. So pretty happy with that haul. Did need help getting it into the car and getting it out of the car at the other end, but now I have a good stack for the home garden. And our final stop on this impromptu tour of the home garden is the purple sprouting broccoli, which this one looks okay. The other two, I mean, I've had it covered, but something's been eating it. But this one's okay, and it even seems to be there we go. Is that the start of the purple sprouting broccoli? Who knows? But we'll keep it covered and keep our fingers crossed. Hey Dory. Yeah? Are you ready for a walk? You good girl. Come on then. I'm just in the kitchen cobbling together some lunch, and while I'm doing that I'm going to begin soaking my new Ranunculus. So I've got 2 different varieties of Ranunculus that have arrived in my Farmer Gracie order. They came at last, and they need soaking for about 4 hours before you plant them. So at the end of my work day I can then go out in the greenhouse and plant these up. 1 second, just cook my crumpets a little bit longer. Here we go. So the 2 varieties I've got are Picotee Cafe and Striato Bianco. And I will put pictures of those on the screen because I do not remember at all. I know that one of these is the white with the purple, which I wanted ages. And I think the other one is like burnt oranges and things, which I buy a lot, burnt orange coloured plants. I'd really like those. So I wanted to show you how I soak these because there's a little trick to it. So if I just get the corms out. They all look pretty good. So there's your weird little Ranunculus corm. And I'm just going to use some little, what do you call these? Ramekins. That's what you call them, ramekins. So that's the Picotee. And then this is the Carter. There we go. Oh, that one's a bit small. Pop those in the other one, and then I'm just going to pop these, top these with water from the tap. Oh, should I use rainwater? Oh, but the rainwater is super cold unless there's some. This is rainwater in my watering can. So I'm going to pop water into these. And now I'm going to set my Alexa to go off in 1 hour's time. Alexa, 1 hour timer. Alexa, 1 hour timer.
1 hour, starting now.
She messes with me. And in an hour, I'm going to tip this water out and put fresh water in. And then in another hour, I'm going to do the same thing. And then another hour, and I'm going to do that every hour for 4 hours. The reason being that Ranunculus don't want to plump up in just still stagnant water. They want oxygenated water. Now, if you had an oxygenator like you would use in a fish tank or a pond or something, you could put that in a pot of water and let it bubble through, and they would love that. I do not. I used to. I don't know where it went. I do not have one, so I'm just going to change the water regularly so it keeps getting fresh water that is poured out and oxygenated, you know, so it's had that kind of movement going through it. Is this a lot of fuss for very little reward? No idea, but I did it last time and those plants have been growing great, so I'm doing it again. So that's my sort of in the background job this afternoon while I get on with work. But my crumpets are ready now, so I'm going to eat those, and we'll come back to these this evening. I'm actually almost instantly back because just as I sat down for lunch, the postman came and it's my order from Real Seeds. So I thought I would open it with you while these Ranunculus are soaking behind me. Right, let's get in here. Okay, so the main thing that I bought, ochre. So if you were one of actually few people who watched my video checking on the dahlias that were in storage, not my most popular video, but if you did, you might remember that I have some ochre in storage from this year's harvest. But the extent of that is 3 very small, very shriveled, not very hopeful looking ochres. Now, Real Seeds weren't selling these at the beginning of the year because their harvest was similarly hit by the drought and suffered. So they wanted to see how many tubers that they had that they could sell once they were sure of what they needed to replenish their stock. Anyway, they released, I think it was 50 bags of ochre. First come, first serve. I was in there like a shot because I love them. The plants are lovely, they're beautiful to look at, and I really enjoy the ochre that we ate, which was a very small amount. But so here they are, and this is mixed ones. Oh, and it's slim pickings. And this one looks a bit, I don't know, a bit holy, but hopefully we'll be fine. So there's one pinky one. There's a doubler. It's an odd looking one. Yeah, and they seem to be more the yellowy variety. So it was sort of, you get what you get. And I'm happy with that. I mean, that is like, I don't know, 8 times the size of the one I've got in storage. So far more promising than my own ones. But yeah, we'll be giving those a go this year. I think I planted 3 to a pot and they all went in the same pot at the end. I'm going to give them more space this year. I think I'm just going to do individual ones in different places in the garden as well. So we'll see where they do best, rather than planting them all together. Okay, so that was why I went on the site, because I saw on Instagram that they'd released their ochre and I was there like a shot, as I say. But obviously once you're on the site, then you start thinking, well, what else do I need? How do I justify the postage for this? Not that Real Seeds has particularly high postage. I got asparagus kale. Anybody grown that before? Hardy green, grey-green kale that has been selected for its profusion of tender shoots in spring. So I think you kind of like a purple sprouting broccoli deal. And seeing I've not had much luck with that, maybe I'll have more luck with asparagus kale. Ah, kohlrabi. Yes, I was thinking about this morning and thinking again, I've got no kohlrabi to grow, forgetting that I had ordered some. Enormous kohlrabi. Huge white bulbs up to 4 kilograms in weight. Traditionally grown for storage over winter at store wells without going woody, but also great for fresh use from spring sowing. So I'm going to sow those relatively soon. I've grown kohlrabi before. I like growing kohlrabi. It looks crazy and it's fun and it's good to have in sauerkrauts and things like that. 70 days improved you choice sum. I bought so much from Real Seeds that now I'm buying like the really bizarre stuff on there. This is an amazing vegetable from China with dark green leaves and flowering shoots, delicious cooked or raw. Harvest just before the flowers open. Okay. When do we sow that? So anytime. Oh. Mibuna Oriental Greens. I've got Mizuna at the moment, but my seeds are running out. So got some replacement Oriental Greens. Wongbok Chinese cabbage. I've gone for a real Chinese Oriental kind of group of seeds here. This is fast-growing pale green upright Chinese cabbage that has white ribs and stores well after cutting. Again, this is for sauerkraut. Maybe I'll show you some of my krauts actually. Do that in a minute. Soybean. Have tried to go soybean before. They were from plug plants from the garden centre. And they didn't do very well, and I read up on it and people were sort of like, oh, you can't grow them in this country, but then other people you see and they've got brilliant soybean plants. Anyway, I'm going to give it another go. And last but not least, more straw flowers. Love straw flowers, having only ever seen them in pictures. Mine didn't flower last year. They got caught by the frost before they had time. I've sown some, they are coming up. I'm going to sow some more. Okay. Cool. Oh, that's exciting then. And the ochre can go upstairs to be stored alongside the dahlias and such. Let me show you my krauts. This is the one I'm currently eating. I made this at the end of July last year, and this is a nasturtium seed kraut. So it's got white cabbage, this may have been Napa cabbage, and nasturtium seeds. And that. It's a very distinctive smell. There's one of the nasturtium seeds. Oh, 2 of them. Ooh, there we go. Oh dear, lost one to the floor. See how the dog likes that. It's actually not too strong, that one. That's more nasturtium seed kraut, much larger jar. This one is white cabbage and garlic scrapes. And I've just finished, before I started that one, I had finished the one which was white cabbage and garlic flowers, buds. So I collected a lot of wild garlic buds and made a kraut with those. So yeah, my krauts tend to reflect the stages of garlic. So there will be soon to be wild garlic leaf kraut. Then there'll be a wild garlic bud kraut. and then scapes, and then move on to things like nasturtium seeds and such. But super good for you, excellent for the gut, and it's easy to make, fun to make, tastes great, really livens up a sandwich. In fact, I could have put some on top of my crumpets. Okay, that was a strange interlude, but people have been interested in my cooking, apparently, in the comments. So there you go. When we find some wild garlic, it's not come up here yet, but when it does, I'm going to make a sourdough with you with wild garlic in it, and maybe we'll make a kraut as well. Okay, lunch over, back to work. I'll meet you with the Ranunculus corms in about 4 to 5 hours. It's cold, it's raining, it's the end of the day, but I've come out into the greenhouse because once you start a job like that, you've got no choice. You have to come in and do the potting up. However, they're just having they've had their last sort of pour in of water, so I'll go fetch those in a minute, but I have got one job to do before the Ranunculus, which is in here. Let's see if you can guess what I've got in here. Oh, ho, ho. It's a loofah seed. So I decided to jump on the trend that I kind of missed last year, really, and try and grow my own loofahs. So I put 4 in a piece of well, this is like, what is this? Bamboo kitchen roll stuff, reusable. So I put 4 in there. I nipped the ends. You can see on this one that hasn't sprouted, so I just nipped the end off. Maybe I didn't nip the end off that enough, but that one hasn't come up. So that one, well, maybe I'll keep it in the paper and see if it does something, but I guess 3 is enough to get started with. So I'm going to pot up these 3. They've each got quite a good long little growth on them. Okay, I think I'll give them a pot each, and just a small pot, and then I think I'll put them back in the propagator for now. Yeah, okay, let's do that. Which way round? Hang on, I'm going to have to Google that. I didn't do that. I'm back. Google was not helpful. I think I'm going to plant it on its side. I'm pretty sure that it's the sprout going up, not the root going down, but yeah, for the safe side, I'll put it on its side-ish. It did say ½ an inch below the surface. I'll do it on its side with that bit pointing up. Oh, that one's kind of the other way. I'm just very lightly firming because I don't want to break off the shoot that's formed. Shoot was the word I was looking for. There we go. Oh, look where she's decided to sit. trees growing there, Dory. And lettuce. Come on, off, off. I know you want to shelter from the rain. Off you go. Okay, that's those done. Oh, I better label them. And then they're going to go back into the propagator. Okay, I've been and fetched the Ranunculus. Got it a bit wet. So this is how they look when they're all plumped up. Okay, so they're a little bit fatter, and they're ready to be planted. You plant them alien side down. Or the little, who said it? I can't remember, and I commented on their video to say thank you, that's really useful. But to think of them like a dahlia. So you grow a dahlia with all the tubers pointing downwards and the little stalk at the top. Same for your ranunculus. If I remember, I'll put that on the screen. Right, and now what shall I grow these in? I'm slightly tempted to just stick them in the ground, but I'm not. I'm going to do them individually in pots. So these ones, well, these ones are the garden centre ones. But I think this was quite, look at this one coming. Oh, I can't wait to see what that one looks like. But I think this was good to get some garden centre ones because I can see what they should be like. These are the ones I grew all at the same time. I can't remember if I already told you this, but these corms were from the Malvern Autumn Show. So a good, reputable seller of Ranunculus. And I mean, they're huge. These are really good. These were the kind you got in the garden centre, kind of normal ones. And they're doing fine. They're not quite as big as these, but they're fine. These were the cheapies. Get that out of the way. And you can see, I mean, look at that one in comparison. Pathetic. This one has had a little spurt. So, but yeah, they were all done at exactly the same time using this method of soaking the corms. They've all been in the same place, same size tub. They all had five, is it right? Yes, 5 corms per big pot. But yeah, to show you, because that's the difference. I mean, it's not always the case. You can buy cheap and it worked brilliantly. But sometimes you buy cheap and it shows. Well, these are Farmer Gracie ones. Were not cheap, and I'm expecting good things of them. But my whole point for that ramble was I'm going to have flowers almost immediately from these garden centre ones. A little bit later they'll be followed by the flowers of the ones that I've grown from corms in the autumn, and then I'll get another succession with these ones that I'm doing the spring sowing. So Ranunculus all around. They are like the trend plant of this year, aren't they? Ranunculus. Alright, so I think I'm going to do that. I'm slightly different than those pots in that I want... so indecisive. Do I want to sow 1 corm per pot and do them in small pots so that they can be planted out? How many have I got? I've got 20. Yeah, I think I might do that. Okay. This tray has 20 cells. They're quite small, but then I don't think I want the Ranunculus to be in here that long. So they can form some roots, get some growth, and then they're going to go outside, because they can withstand frost, I think. I don't know, I'm just pretending I know what I talk about again, what I'm talking about. Alright, I'm going to use this. Extra one. These ones are definitely the smaller ones. They are the Striato Bianco, so it'll be interesting to see if these come up as stronger plants as the others. extra one in here as well. Maybe I'll plant these two directly into the garden and see if that works. It's nice to have, yeah, a couple of spares to experiment with then. Again, I'm just very gently firming. Into the flimsy they've gone. I mean they don't need to be warm or anything, but I guess while they're just germinating, a bit of extra protection is fine, and there was room in there. Right, so I'm gonna go and find a spot for these two just randomly in the garden and try and remember then where I put them. Okay, so I think that's it for today. I wasn't expecting to film quite so much today. I think we've got a whole episode, so this might be a bonus Saturday episode. Tomatoes still coming. That's my plan for this weekend, tomatoes. But yeah, it was good to get the Ranunculus done and those loofahs potted up, because it's easy to forget. You wrap those in a piece of paper and put them in the propagator, and then weeks later you've got mouldy seeds and shoots that have fallen off. So yeah, good, happy with that. Productive, being that it just sort of ran alongside a normal work day. Okay, rainy dog walk. These in the ground first. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Ooh, oh no! Bonus content was that I just found that one corm was 2 stuck together, so I now have 3 to plant, but I dropped it. Ah, where did it go?